Hey everyone, it's Conrad 9000 from Curtis Crafts, and today we're going to be making a display for a storyboard page from Return of the Jedi. What is that, like some type of, like a space movie or something? What's that supposed to be?
So this was kind of an impulse buy, but I did manage to buy one of the storyboard pages from Return of the Jedi. Specifically, one of the Phil Tippett pieces where he was animating the Rancor. This was production used, but as you can tell from the scene where Luke loses consciousness, this wasn't actually the final cut. Nevertheless, it's a really cool piece, and I wanted a way to display it kind of in an interesting manner. I found a shadow box on sale at Michael's, and I wanted to center this inside of it. I knew at the very least I was going to make a recreation of the same style door that's inside Jabba's palace, and I knew I'd be able to make that out of 16th-inch styrene. I left myself an area where I could draw out a space for the page that would go in the center of this, and made sure I didn't put any paint there just in case I wanted to use some tape or other adhesive to hold the plastic sleeve, which holds the storyboard page in place. Once that was done, I put part of the frame back on in order to lay out where the bottom of the door would be. I cut out a thin strip of plastic to act as the bottom of the door, and then later on I put on another layer of plastic, which will act as the final layer of detail in the base of the door. Once that's in place, I check the fit of the plastic again, that way I can put some side details on it. I wanted the details of the door to kinda hug this page and keep it in place. This last piece of plastic at the bottom is going to act as a surface where I'll build up all the sand and dirt. This way, everything that's detailed inside the frame will come apart from the actual frame, and it'll be easier to take apart in the future. After that, I started layering on my various brown paints. To make some of the recessed rivet details, I had an idea where I would drill holes in this and then use some 5mm LEDs from the back in order to imitate the circular details on the doors of Jabba's palace. This wound up being a good idea, and it worked incredibly well, except for having a bunch of LED leads on the back of this. I folded them over just to get them out of the way, in case I decide to replace them with something else in the future. They all got super glued in place, and then I resumed painting on all of my rust details.
Don't forget to like and subscribe!
And just like the trash pile says, that does help me out a lot. I also make some raised panel details by just taking a piece of paper and airbrushing black lines against the base of it. Once those are in, I add some watered down black paint details in order to make some grime, some corrosion, and all sorts of other weathering. This is also the first time I get to experiment with some Tamiya weathering powders, which I use to make more rust, more dirt, and more oil. And they really help sell the effect. Once the weathering is done, it's time to spread some glue on the base and put some various grits of sand on it, along with some really small rocks. Then once the base is set, I use some epoxy sculpt to make a miniature giant femur, which is wrapped around a thin wooden stick, so later on I can break it in half and get some sharp, ragged details. Once the sculpting is complete, but before it's dry, I push it into the base and then drag out some more of the broken effect. Afterwards, a little more sand is put on top of everything, and then the frame is reassembled and the glass put back in. And it makes for a really clean way to display a piece of nerdy Star Wars history. And this project sparked an idea to start displaying all of my other purchased props, so be sure to look for those in the future.